We are back. The FloTrack podcast. Happy Friday, everyone. FloTrack podcast at gmail.com. I'm Kevin. He's Gordon. You can also find the show on YouTube where you can subscribe, find all the clips. Gordon, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. Yourself?
Not bad. Going to go to a track meet tonight, which is something I haven't been able to say for, a year? I've been to a cross-country meet, but it's been about a year since I went to a track meet.
You know, one thing that I realized, what was it? 9 days ago, February 17th, was actually our 1-year anniversary of this podcast. We started on February 17th, 2020, and now it's February 26th, 2021. Who would have thought we would have made it a whole year?
Who would have thought that we would have started it right before the sport and every sport shut down? Who would have thought at the moment? Those early episodes are probably not very relevant to today. So later on the show, I'll talk about that meet I'm going to, the Texas Qualifier. Gordon will also talk about his individual rankings. We teased them yesterday. He talked about the team, but we will get into the individual rankings today. But first, you wanted to lead off with some results from yesterday. You were paying attention to the ACC and the SEC indoor championships. Not many indoor meets left in the season, Gordon, both for collegiates and for pros. We're getting to the very end of it here. What stood out to you when you were watching those two conference championships?
Well, the number one thing, or most notable mark, had to have been in the men's DMR at SECs. Ole Miss won the race in 9:29. Alabama got second in 9:31. But when you look at the splits, Ole Miss's anchor, Mario Garcia Romo, who's kind of like a 5-10K guy in a way, he split 354 on the anchor. But Alabama, who got second, who lost the meet by 2 seconds, their anchor, Iliad Kipsang, ran 351. 351. And I mean, it's pretty quick.
Yeah.
And I look
good running start. Maybe he's great with the running start. That's my conclusion.
Maybe he's great with the running start. Those extra 9 meters, right? Because it's 1,600 and not a mile, help you out. But 351 is no joke. And in an era now where, you know, the Oregon guys are running 350s and 353s, and now you have Iliad Kipsang of Alabama running 351, it's a different time right now. I don't know. 351 is quick. What do you think?
Where did you have them finishing in the DMR prior to this race? And where did you have Kipsang finishing in a mile before
nowhere.
This race?
I mean, their leadoff leg ran 302. Like the only reason they got second in this race is because Kipsang basically ran a whole 10 seconds faster than the third place team's anchor leg. So
how many people did he pass? What place were they in when he got the stick? Because it's probably an ideal. I mean, you don't know based on the splits, but to run your fastest mark, you want to be chasing. And so many times the good teams have the best guy and they're never chasing. They're up front.
So there are a total of 13 teams. He got the baton in 10th place out of 13.
Nice.
And he was 6 seconds back of the leaders, like the lead pack. He was 6 seconds back. And then he basically runs 351, passes everyone except for Ole Miss.
Yeah. It reminds me of high school DMRs where the talent distribution is a little more spread out. When you go to the college ranks, a lot of it's concentrated. So the team that has the best miler also has a pretty good 1,200 meter runner and 800 meter runner. So they get the stick and they're right there. And there's no reason why they need to run a 351. And then we've seen this before. Sometimes they play games. Sometimes it gets tactical and they sit around and wait. And then they do a really fast last quarter. But the time itself doesn't blow you out of the water. This was set up. It's when you're getting the baton that far back and you can just pass people, the motivation is right in front of you the whole way around, right? That's pretty cool.
It's kind of like the Drew Hunter. Drew Hunter ended up winning, but at Penn Relays, when Hunter ran a 4 flat mile, or was it 4 flat? I don't know what he ran. He ran 10 seconds faster split than the other team's anchor. And then he
Yeah.
basically caught the team at the very end. If you guys remember in 2016, 17? I don't know. Maybe it was 16. He was a high schooler in 16. But yeah, it kind of reminded me of that with just passing everyone and their mom up until the very end. So
how close did he get to catching Ole Miss?
Not that close. He lost to Ole Miss by 2 seconds.
Okay.
But
so,
which is wild.
I can't pass any more people. I'm done.
Yeah, but like he ran like 4 seconds, 5 seconds faster than third place. I guess they're trying to go for a time because I think this time will get them in to qualify for nationals. So that was like the big motivation, is that it wasn't just about your place. It was about putting up a mark that's top 12, which I think Alabama now will be top 12, and they'll qualify for nationals.
Mm-hmm. So 1,600, not mile. You can't use this as his mile PR. What are the rules on this? If you're Eliud Kipsang, do you upload to Strava and be like, listen, I passed a lot of people in this race. Was feeling good. Wasn't a full mile.
Well, what are the rules in general? Like, I feel like how many people out there have said to a friend or a significant other, or have tweeted or something, a DMR 1,600 meter split as their mile time? That's definitely a faux pas, right? You can't do that, right? That's not allowed.
Relay splits in general. Well, tell your friend Ted Ginn Jr., who apparently is 1-0 all time against Usain Bolt because his team beat Usain Bolt's team in a 4x1 when they were in different heats at the Penn Relays one year. He's the number one offender of this rule. Yeah, you can't count relay splits. I guess you could, if you're talking to another running nerd, I feel like it's fair if you give them the context, because then they know what that means. Oh, you ran a 351 anchor. Okay, so in their head. But if you just go around telling people, especially people who are none the wiser, that you're a 351 miler after this, that's when you got to throw the flag on that one.
But he's run 356, so
yeah. So just say that, like, people will be impressed.
Yeah, but like this 351 1,600 is much faster than his 356 open mile. It has to be.
Yeah.
Right?
A couple seconds at least. Yeah. Okay. Just say 2 seconds. Well,
so can you call yourself like a 354 miler?
I say you just steer clear of all of it. And since you already have a 356 PB, you just say I'm a 356 miler. And then you get tape of this race, because this race is probably more impressive than the 356. This tape is way more impressive than the 356 mile, because you probably just look like a god because you're passing everybody in the field because you got the baton. Where did they get the baton? 10th?
10th place.
10th place, and then run all the way up to second.
Teams,
yeah, in a major conference championship. He's not running in the B heat at the Mount Sac morning section of the Mount Sac relays. He's running in the SEC championships, and he did this. Yeah. So 356 was this year? He ran that PB this year?
Yeah.
And you didn't have him ranked?
No. There's a lot of good milers out there, man.
And he's one of them. I'm going all in. I'm going all in on Eliud Kipsang. He's my new pick.
I don't know.
Sam Tanner, Cooper Tier, Cole Hawker. No, Eliud Kipsang.
Yeah, I mean, so this is going to become a Mercy Chalanga and Eliud Kipsang podcast? Because Chalanga is our women's Alabama rep. So is Kipsang going to be our men's Alabama rep?
Yeah, he's gonna figure out a way to spot them time, so that way he can just chase.
Or he'll start like a few meters back from the starting line, so when the gun goes off, he can get like a running start.
You get a running start. Yeah.
Is that illegal?
Yeah, I think you have to start at the starting line. I mean, he could inch back a little bit. But I guess when they call you to your marks, you know how they have you stand at the back a bit and then you run up to your marks? You could go like way slower than everybody. Well, no, because you have to be set before you go. You can't be like a wide receiver in football where you're in motion. This isn't the Arena League. You have to actually be set and then go. So I think they might call that back.
How cool would that be? If that was like a strategy, and like you can risk like getting a false start. You know,
you can try. We've seen too many 1,500 meter false starts at the NCAA championships recently to risk that again. Well, actually, we've seen one, but I'm still mad about it. Haven't forgot about James West getting unceremoniously DQ'd from West. Okay, so that was the highlight from SEC. ACC, have we seen anything from NC State on the women's side that's going to change the cross-country rankings?
Let me check. I don't think so.
Or is
I
that
don't
still
think they
TBD?
ran. I think that's still TBD.
Okay.
I thought. Yeah, I didn't. There was no. I was confused because there was no women's 5,000 on Thursday. There was the men's 5,000, but there was no women's 5,000. So maybe is there just no 5,000 in general? Wait a minute.
That'd be interesting. Uh-oh. Gordon is discovering something.
There's no 5,000. How's that? Wait a minute.
Did they all agree? Did they all agree
that we're not going to do the... Okay, let me check. Hold on. Start list.
That can't be right. That can't be right.
Okay, there is. But maybe the...
Okay.
Okay.
For a moment there, we were in a historic situation.
Yeah,
okay,
but
did they... The women ran a DMR, correct? Last night?
Yeah, women ran a DMR. NC State won. Let's see who's on that leg. They don't have the list of who ran it. But their anchor ran 4:33. They ran 11:07. NC State is kind of doing a little bit of both. You see like New Mexico, BYU, Stanford. They're going all focused in on cross country. But NC State, because they ran their championship back in October, have been like dabbling in the indoor. And we'll see if that hurts them, helps them come cross country. But right now they're running track. They just ran 11:07 in the DMR. So we'll see.
So I saw. Go ahead.
No, you go.
Oh, I was just going to say that I saw on the site you posted those interviews from when you were in Las Vegas for the West Coast Conference Championship. And one of them was with Whitney Orton. And you asked her, hey, what's it like to not be racing right now? And I thought that was a pretty interesting question and answer because she was, at least going into last week, number one. Do you still, and she hasn't run a cross country race in months, and she didn't run conference. Is she going to enter the meet? Is she going to enter NCAA's ranked number one?
Yes, she will. Yeah, I mean, while when we were there at West Coast Conference Championships, she did a workout instead of run the race, and we filmed the workout, and we'll post that workout down the road. And she looked good in the workout, and she looked like the Whitney Orton that we saw back in October when she was, beating Taylor Rowe of Oklahoma State by like multiple seconds. I mean, while Elle Donahue definitely is having a good season right now, Whitney Orton right now hasn't done anything to say that she's lost a step. Whereas there's one athlete on the men's side who was the unanimous number one, may not be the unanimous number one anymore because of a misstep, but Whitney Orton doesn't have any blemishes on her resume. We can break down our new top 10 if you want, or top 25. Do you want to look at the top 25 that I have, or 10?
Yeah, I mean, she doesn't have any blemishes on her resume, but she doesn't have anything on her resume. Really?
Well, she has the win at Oklahoma State
in October. We're in February.
She has the fast track times of indoor of 2020,
which also was last year. I just think it's remarkable. You could be 100% right, but is this not just about what Orton did before, but is it also about that nobody else has really separated themselves from the rest of the pack? I feel like if someone in one of these few cross-country races that we had blew out the field and won by 20 seconds, maybe they would get a little bit of traction.
Yeah, if we had like a Wesley Kiptoo type performance, but we haven't.
If Donahue won by 20 seconds, instead of just a few at the end.
Yeah, then that might sway the results a bit, but we haven't seen that. Donahue's still our number 2. Should I go through our top 10?
Yeah, go through as many as you'd like.
Well, I'll go through our top 10. So, in 10th, we have Tyler Beeling, junior from Boise State, who is an international transfer. And I found this out. I was like, who's Tyler Beeling? So if you Google Tyler Beeling, doing this live, Tyler Beeling.
Do you know the answer to this question, or
He's from South
are we
Africa.
finding out right now?
It's not Beeling, it's Belling. Oops. Tyler Belling. She's from South Africa, right?
Okay.
And she doesn't have that crazy of personal best. She's run 36-4. She's run an 118 half marathon, 17-16 5K, but she's been running well in the cross country races. But I was like, Boise State getting this woman from South Africa, and I was like, Boise State, they're good with international athletes. And I was thinking, remember when Oregon was getting a bunch of international athletes because of the move of the San Francisco coach,
Lehman
Lehman Whitners. Well, apparently, the main reason Liam Whitners was getting a lot of these international athletes is because one of her assistants was the pipeline to these international stars, and that that assistant is now the assistant at Boise State. So the reason why Oregon doesn't have like another like European or South African athletes coming in is because now they're all going to Boise State. So that makes me think in maybe 1 to 2 years, Boise State is going to probably have a really stacked international roster that San Francisco had a few years ago that Oregon maintained a little bit the past few years. So look out for Boise State in the coming years because they got that international pipeline on lock right now.
Okay, so she's number
10.
What do we got here? I'm counting out. She was 10. Okay. Well, you're gonna have to go a little quicker, Gordon, because if you do 3 minutes on every person for
I wanted to talk about how Boise State. I just want
they got a pipeline now.
They got pipeline that Oregon had or that San Francisco had. Okay.
They took the pipeline. They rerouted the pipeline.
They rerouted the pipeline. Anna Camp is 9th of BYU. She drops from 6 to 9. Melanie Smart, sophomore from Washington, stays at 8. Melanie Smart is an interesting character because we have yet to see her run, but she's that one low stick that Washington has that will make them relevant. Taryn O'Neill, 7th, moves up from 14th, the junior from Northern Arizona. NAU on the women's side, low key, having a great season, could be top 10. Callie Logue of Iowa State.
Is it low key at this point? If you talk about it every episode, is it low key anymore?
No, people aren't talking about it. Let's be honest. I'm the only one talking about it. Callie Logue, 6th, Iowa State. Moving up from 19th to 5th, I have Zofia Dudek, the freshman from Stanford. Who would have thought that Zofia Dudek would be our top freshman and not that one over at NC State, Caitlin Tui. But she's been running well, right behind her teammate, Ella Donahue. So she deserves to be, her and now Nico Young are going to be our 2 potential true freshman stars that can finish top 5. Bethany Haas, Minnesota 4. Mercy Chilanga, Alabama 3.
Mercy!
Ella Donahue, Stanford 2, and then Whitney Orton, BYU 1. So our top 4 stay intact. The main moves are Zofia Dudek going from 19 to 5 and Taryn O'Neill going from 14 to 7.
Yeah, and they proved themselves because they had that second really good race. They had the one earlier in the year, and you thought, okay, well, was that just a great day? But now they've done it twice. So those are well-earned rankings. BYU has an interesting situation. You talked about the indoor cross-country mix, and just because of eligibility reasons, BYU has a pretty clean break on who they're running indoors and who they're running cross-country because, they have one of the best DMR teams in the country. They have obviously contenders who can, score points and, contest for national titles in the other mid-distance and distance events. But it's interesting. If you you have Anna Camp there, right? In 9th?
Yeah.
Now she's more of a half miler, but she doesn't have indoor. And then you have Courtney Waymit, who last year was a stud for them in cross country. She only has indoor and not cross. If you could swap those two right now, BYU would be in just this crazy position for both the DMR and for cross, because that would be an upgrade for each season. I know it's sort of silly to speculate about that, but it's just kind of funny how how that worked out. There's probably a lot of other teams who are thinking the same thing of like, man, if we could just swap these 2 years of eligibility for these two athletes, like we could improve both of our teams' chances. Because if you put Wayman in there with an extra year, like she beat Orton last year at NCAA championships. So you would have the top two runners probably in the nation, and then you'd be in a much stronger spot. But let's go to the men.
Maybe in the NCAA we should start treating eligibility like the NBA treats like traded player exceptions and stuff like that, where like, hey, yeah, you get 4 years of eligibility per athlete you sign, but if one athlete only uses 2 or 3, you could take that extra year and throw it on a different athlete. So your scholarship is just eligibility years, and you can mix and match them to whoever you want. So you could have one athlete take up 8 years and the other athlete never run.
Well, but this year it seems, especially because they're on top of each other, these 2 seasons, it's like, well, what does it really matter if you think about it, right? They're competing. They're the exact same weekend, for goodness sakes. I know there's good reasons why they don't do it, but it is just a funny quirk of the eligibility system, and with the COVID year as well too. Men's side of things, top 10. I'll read them for you. Number 10.
Are you reading them because I'm going to take too much time?
No,
Are you reading them because I'm
just kidding.
Take too much time?
I wanted to do the Grijalva joke. That was it. That was the only reason why I was reading it. Go ahead.
Oh, I ruined your joke. Sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, Luis Grijalva's not 10th. Come on. Sorry.
That was a joke. That was part of I was trying to be funny.
I got it. It was good.
All right, so I'll do the real one. 10. Festus Legat.
No, Abdihamid Nur of Northern Arizona moves up to 1 spot, goes into top 10. He was 11th. Isai Rodriguez, who we finally saw, he ran well in a dual meet against Tulsa, moves up from 18 to 9, the junior from Oklahoma State. Then 8, we have Amoin Kemboy of Arkansas, who kind of drops from 5 to 8. I dropped him mainly because I'm just thinking cross country, indoor. I don't know what his indoor workload's going to be. Cooper Tier is also in our top 10. We'll get to him later. Cooper Tier isn't going to be doing, is not doing the 5K. He's doing more shorter distances, whereas Simone Kemboy, I think it's going to be looked upon to a 5-3 double, and I feel like that might take a lot out of his legs when he runs a 10K on Monday. So Simone Kemboy of Arkansas is 8. Casey Klinger moves up from 15 to 7 for BYU. Eduardo Herrera moves up from 7 to 6 for Colorado. Nico Young moves up from 6 to 5, the freshman from Northern Arizona. So we have 2 freshmen in the 5th spot on both the men and the women's side. And then our top 4, which I think is a clear top 4, Cooper Tier of Oregon, Wesley Kiptoo 3 of Iowa State. And then I've dropped Luis Grijalva to 2 of Northern Arizona and bumped Connor Mance, the top returner, back into the 1 spot, the junior from BYU.
That's fair. I think that's accurate. It wasn't like Grijalva lost to just one person. He got beat by a couple people. By all accounts, he was trying in that race. And Mance is steady. Mance is solid. I'm still wondering about Kiptoo. Kiptoo is I think has the biggest variation because you could see him running away with it, but you could also see him not only not winning, but maybe falling behind that pack, because that's going to be a tight group, right? I don't see. We've seen how close Nico is to Connor Mance, right? And we've seen how close Herrera and Grijalva are. Like, there's going to be a big pack there, I feel like.
Yeah. Well, there might be a big pack. I also think that there's a clear separation, though, of the top 4.
Where?
I think Mance, Grijalva, Kiptoo, and Tier. I think talent-wise, they're like...
Hold on. Why are you cutting Nico out? Why are you cutting Nico out? Hold up. There's so much Nico pessimism.
He's a freshman.
On this side of the podcast.
I mean, Nico, when I know it's a track meet, but he ran like a 13:44 5K or whatever. The same race where Grijalva was running 13 teens. And Kiptoo
how long ago was that?
Is running an amazing 10K. Connor Mance, I just feel like there's a separate, I think experience-wise, Mance, Grijalva, Kiptoo, and Tier are just at a different level. I mean, Grijalva and Tier are both running 13 teens. Mance is Mance, and then Kiptu is running crazy times from the JUCO world, right? But yeah, Nico Young almost beat Connor Mance. But let's just be honest, Connor Mance didn't know.
And he beat Luis Grijalva.
Yeah.
And he beat Luis Grijalva.
Okay.
Did that not happen?
Yeah,
I know you weren't there. I wasn't there either because the winner stole.
Yeah, so did Abdihaman Nur.
Exactly.
Should Abdihaman Nur be ranked ahead of Nico Young?
No, but I think that's
okay.
He could be in that tight pack too. You're saying these 4 people are head and shoulders above everything else, and you're basing it off of a 5K Nico Young ran last year. Who cares? You've seen what shape he's in right now. He's thrown 2 strikes right down the middle. His 2 cross-country races in an NAU jersey. Stop doubting NAU, Gordon. Stop doubting Nico Young.
Come on. There's no doubt when you say Nico Young's going to finish 5th in the nation. Come on. You're not doubting an athlete if you say he's not going to beat Connor Mance. Come on.
I'm not saying he's going to beat him. I'm saying there's not as big of a gap because
there is.
You're making my point for me. The fact that Nur beats Grijalva just shows how deep this thing is. I think there's one person who has blowout potential. And by blowout, I mean wins by, it's not even a blowout, but could win by like 10 seconds. And that would be someone like Kiptu. Just because we haven't seen him, full go in cross this calendar year. We saw him last year and he was doing really good. I think we don't know yet his ceiling. Everybody else, though, I mean, if Mance wins, it's going to be a dogfight. If Grijalva wins, it's going to come down to that final stretch. If Nico Young wins, it's going to come down to the final stretch. Isai Rodriguez, I think a lot of people have a chance here.
I think there's a tier. I think there's a 1A tier and then a 1B tier. And I think Nico Young is leading the 1B tier. That's all I think.
I'll give you that there's a tier, but I think the tier is at about 10. I think that's where it is. I think it's about 10.
No, you can't say Casey Klinger is in the same conversation as Connor Mance and Grijalva.
Yeah, I just did. He's going to be there.
I'm
not saying he's going to win, but I'm saying he's going to be there. He's going to be there. They're going to be there.
They're going to be there, they'll be there through the first 5K or 6K or 7K, but in the final 2K, there's going to be 4 guys, and it's going to be Tier, Kiptu, Grijalva, and Mance.
All right,
and then Nico Young and Abdihaman Nur will be battling Casey Klinger and Brandon Garnica in that second pack. That's what I think.
All right, let's make this very specific bet that's what's going to look like at 8K. And then I will bet you something that you owed Lincoln or that Lincoln owed you. I assumed all his debts when he left.
Liabilities.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, let's talk about this meet in Austin, Texas, which starts tonight.
Well, don't you want to know who I have ranked 250th?
I don't know, because you probably think they're going to beat Nico Young. So yeah, I want to hear who it is.
In 250th place, drum roll, Ben Savino, senior, Ole Miss. Congratulations. You're man number 250.
What about 156?
156 is Dario De Caro. Great name. Dario De Caro, senior from Boise State. That's a great name.
Okay, one more.
De Caro.
How about 87?
87? 87 is Victor Shitsma. Another great name. Shitsma, freshman, Oklahoma State. So many great names in running. Gotta love it. I could just have so much fun just reading names.
Okay, one more. How about 178? Who's 178?
JP Trojan, senior.
Okay, there we go.
Syracuse. All right. Now we're just.
That was my last one.
That's your last one.
All right. Austin, Texas. This meet starts Friday night. Saturday night is the elite of the elite section here. I'll run through some of these fields real briefly here. So women's 800, you got Ajay Wilson, Charlene Lipsy, Alexa Ephraimson, Kayla Edwards, Kate Grace, Sierra Brown. Women's 15, Gabrielle W. Stafford, Colleen Quigley, Sinclair Johnson, Nikki Hiltz, Corey McGee. Men's 1500 is not going to have Brazier or Centro, which was a bummer, but Josh Thompson, Eric Jenkins, Charlie Hunter, Nick Willis, Robbie Andrews, Justin Knight. Men's 5K, Ryan Hill, Hillary Board, Kirabella Rosso. Women's 5, Eleanor Purrier, Rachel Schneider, Wayne Colati, Emma Coburn. Men's 10,000 has Chalanga in it. Women's 10K will have the debut of Constance Klosterhoffen and also Kira D'Amato. Anything stand out to you there?
I mean, Kira D'Amato. It's my
Mhm.
probably the main athlete I'm most interested in seeing. She was supposed to run that 10K back in 2020, early 2020, but she got sick.
You're still mad about that because you
Still mad
lost the
about that.
draft to Lincoln.
I would have won the draft. And then 2 or 3 weeks later, she runs an incredible marathon. But
Yeah.
now that the Bowerman women put down some fast 10Ks, Rachel Schneider's going to be in the mix and a few others. The 10K is going to be a hard team to make, and you're definitely going to need the standard. So if Kara wants to have any chance to be in the picture come June, she needs to have that standard under her belt, and this will be one of the first opportunities to get that mark.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll be interesting to see how close she is to it. Is she far away from it? Does she shatter it and show that, like, hey, if I'm a 220, what's it, 222 marathoner?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If I'm a 222 marathoner, maybe it's like I should be able to throw down these 10K marks.
I'm interested in that one as well, too. And the presence of Klosterhoffen means it's gonna be fast. I don't know if it's gonna be 30:47 like the Bowerman women ran, but they don't need to do that in order to get the standard. Her PR right now in the 10,000 is 32:33. So she needs a big chunk of time off of that. I think she will do that just based on some of her other times, as you mentioned, the 222 marathon, the 68-minute half marathon, of course, all those 5,000s. I mean, some of them are time trialed and not sanctioned, but she was running 15 lows basically. So that seems like a possibility. Women's 5, I'm also interested in as well, too, because I want to see Schneider v. Purrier, because that could be for an Olympic spot in a couple months' time. Purrier obviously has options in the 15 and the 5, just ran that quick 2 mile. Schneider's always going to be under the radar, I just feel like, because she's not in Bowerman. And right? I mean, they get a lot of the attention, and Sisson and Huddle are going to get a lot of the attention because they've been at I mean, Huddle especially has been at like a high level for so long. Sisson's been one of the best marathoners in the country, and Purrier too, just because what she's done on the indoor track. Like they're always going to get, I think, more attention to them. But Schneider can get on the team in either the 10 or the 5. So I want to see that one. Men's side of things, I guess I would say the 1500 is the most interesting race, with just to see what Thompson can do and just to see how many standards get knocked out from the Americans. Because even though this is a crazy year with the times and everybody's losing their mind about shoes, I still could see a scenario where we go to the Olympic trials and you have a final where a lot of the people don't have the standard for the men in the 1500, because that just seems to be how gravity works in U.S. track and field when it comes to men's mid distance.
Yeah, I have a feeling we're not going to get the standard in 1500. It just, for some reason, the women are able to get these standards in the 1500, but the men don't. And I feel like this could be another situation because men just love to sleep on that third lap and like kind of turn it into like, I have the kick and I'm just trying to win the race. And
here's my counter to that, though. Oliver Hoare just ran 3:32 indoors, right? We saw Sam Tanner run 3:34. These guys in this race, people like Josh Thompson, they obviously have the ability to run that quick, and it's outdoors, so you think that would help them a tad. I don't know, but I guess I could see a scenario where we go in and 4 people have the standard, and we're just shaking our head again because that barrier is so difficult to beat. Women's 15, Quigley, as I mentioned, Sinclair Johnson. That'll be fun with Gabrielle DeVue Stafford, Nikki Hilton, Corey McGee. That's a good field. That's a good field, and we could maybe see something under 4, depending on how sharp they are right now. But I don't know. TBD on that one, I guess.
Do you want me to
Men's
make
8.
predictions of what I can make a prediction of
I-
what I bet the winning time will be for all these main races?
Okay, I'll write it in here so we can judge you on it later.
And
Men's
I bet I'll
800
be very close.
featuring Isaiah Harris.
Men's 800 will be won in 146.1. No,
Women's
146.2.
800.
146.2. Women's 800 will be won in, who's in it?
It's a good field. It's a good
One,
field. It looks like it's almost like a Olympic trials final here.
I'm going to go with a 159.8.
Women's 15.
Women's 15, 403.9.
Oh wow. Okay, that's slower than what I have. I would probably put the over under that one at like 401. Men's 15. Here's your chance. Just say it. 331. Just say it.
No, 330. What's the Olympic standard? 35.
35. 35.
35. It'll be 336.9.
Do you have a pick on who wins it?
Josh Thompson.
Josh Thompson. Okay. All right.
And if he doesn't
5,000s?
show up, then Justin Knight. 5,000. Women,
Yeah.
1504.
You have a pick? Wait, 1504? Really? You think it's going to be that slow?
Yes.
I mean, that'll get them the standard. Okay. I guess it just seems slow because everything after what the Bowerman women did last summer.
That's the thing. We're gonna think that's normal, but like that's not normal. That's only normal when your coach is the meet director.
I'm gonna go under. I'm gonna go under on that one. Men's 5: Ryan Hill, Hillary Board, Kiribati Arasa. The Olympic standard is 13.50.
It's gonna be 13:17. No.
Men's 10.
Hold on. Wait. No. Wait. It's gonna be like 13:21.
You get all these right, I'm gonna be really impressed. Men's 10,000. Of course, the standard's a tough one. 27:28. The whole field. Let me read the whole field to you on this one. You want the whole field on this one?
Yeah, read it. I'm looking at
Chilanga, Talby, Renwicky, Fred Huxham, Connor Winter, Mark Parrish, Tom Anderson, Reed Fisher, Arsene Guriel, Roy Linklater, Sagai Tume, Weldibanos, and then Ben Eidenshank, Wisconsin Badger.
So what's the standard?
27:28.
I'm gonna go with
Right, Mark.
20.
You gotta go faster, Gordon.
All right, I'm thinking. I'm gonna be right. 20. It's gonna be 28:20.
28?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, 28 flat. 28 flat.
Still a little too slow for me. I'll go. I'm going under on all your lines, by the way.
I know.
Right, finally, women's.
I'm telling you, it's not.
Women's 10,000. Women's 10,000. You think D'Amato and Klosterhoffen are going to get the standard, right? 31:25.
Yes. So what's the standard on women's 10K?
31:25.
So they're going to run 31:19.
I think I would go under on literally all of these. Yeah.
Take the under, man. Parlay it all. Put together.
I am. I'm gonna package it all together. Okay, so and then we have tonight. We have some more sections, and we got some fast high schoolers. Hobbs Kessler's going to be racing the 1500. Sophia Goriarin's going to be running the 800. She's the high school sophomore that's been running really well. And then you have Craig Engels in a 5,000. His PR is above 14 minutes. Do you want to make a prediction on whether or not he PRs?
Yes, he PRs.
Okay, good. So yes,
14.
And then you got Boris Berrien in the 800, scheduled to run his first race since 2018.
He's going to run like 150.
I'll go under. I'll go under on that. I think it's interesting. So when I was looking up Berrien's times, like when the last time he ran, and then you remember, okay, he made the last Olympic team, which is longer ago than we realized because it got canceled. But then you also think about, obviously, Grant Holloway hasn't made an Olympic team. Noah Lyles hasn't made an Olympic team. Michael Norman hasn't made an Olympic team. Like, so much has changed in the last 5 years in track and field. It's actually quite remarkable when you look at who obviously Donovan Brazier didn't make an Olympic team. Bryce Hoppel, no one even knew who Bryce Hoppel was in 2016. And then now he's coming in as a medal contender. It's like weird, top to bottom. There would have been that level of turnover even if it was last year, but the extra year makes it even more pronounced of like, man, that's right. Like, Noah Lyles has never run in the Olympics. That's just weird to think. He's never been in the Olympics. Yeah. Okay. Any other races? Any other bets you want to make on this meet?
Well, there's a certain athlete making her 5K debut, and I'm really excited for that. Emma Coburn making her 5K debut.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You talked about that on the show, basically one of our first episodes. I think it was probably almost a year ago when you were trying to figure out, or I don't know when it was, but I remember the episode. You were completely shocked that Emma Coburn had never run a 5K. She had rabbited, but she's never actually run a 5,000 before. Do you have a prediction on her time?
I don't know. It's well, just at the ripe old age of 30, she's finally gonna run a 5K that probably everyone, and you could say how many distance runners wait till age 30 to run a 5K. I think she's probably one of very few who've ever done that.
Yeah.
But I think she'll run. What's the Olympic standard?
15:10, and you have the winner of that race going 15:04.
Yeah, I think she'll run 15:09.
There it is. All right.
Yeah.
There you have it. I'll be getting some interviews. Who do you want me to make sure I interview here? It's been a while. I need to make sure I'm not too rusty. If you could get one interview, who would it be?
Ooh. One interview. Only one? I'm gonna
do more than one.
It's gonna be hard to get. Be like,
that's what I'm saying. I'll pick someone who you think I may not get, or we'll call it the Gordon Special, and I'll just make sure I get that person. Do you have a pick?
I don't know. I don't want to put a lot of pressure on like an individual person. That seems kind of weird. Okay. I think it'll be interesting. I mean, obviously we want to get Hobbs Kessler because he's done something interesting. I mean, you could get one for Lincoln and get Zuhar Talbi. I'm sure Lincoln will appreciate that.
Yeah. He was the JC. Lincoln paid a lot of attention to JC results, and then he was supposed to. Talbi was supposed to go D1, right? It was going to make a big splash. It didn't work out. So yeah, okay, I'll do that one. That's for Lincoln. But if you think of one, just text
get Colin Quigley. Find out who's her sponsor.
Okay, maybe she debuts her sponsor at this meet.
Maybe.
I don't know actually if she's going to do that, but pure speculation on my part. But okay. I was going to interview her anyway. Now Talbi's a good one because that one I might have overlooked. So, all right. I'm on it. Gordon, good episode, good week. We'll be back, I guess, on Monday, and we'll recap all these results, preview the week to come. Indoors winding down, cross country's winding down. Lots of exciting things to talk about. Thanks, Ulan, for producing. Have a great weekend, everyone.